All right, let's talk about the DBQ, the document-based question. For a lot of students, it's that dreaded, sweaty armpit-inducing essay that just makes your heart pound. But here's the thing I want you to get. It is not a monster to be feared. It's actually the single biggest opportunity you have on your entire AP exam to rack up points. And in this explainer, we are going to break down the exact strategy to turn that anxiety into confidence, and maybe even a perfect score. So here's our game plan. We're gonna walk through the whole process, step by step, from the second you lay eyes on that prompt, all the way to writing that killer conclusion. Let's get into it. First things first, before we even get into the how, we've got to talk about the why. Why does this one essay deserve so much of your focus? Well, let's talk about the stakes, because they are high. Just look at that number, a quarter. 25% of your entire AP History exam score comes down to this one essay. There is no other single part of the test that carries this much weight. This is the big one. And when you see it all laid out like this, it becomes even clearer. Yeah, the multiple choice section is 40%, but that's spread out over 55 questions. The DBQ is the largest single written piece of the exam. It's worth a full 10 percentage points more than the LEQ. So you see, mastering the DBQ isn't just a good idea, it is absolutely essential. Okay, so now that you know why this matters so much, let's break down exactly what you'll be facing on exam day. You've got to know the rules of the game if you're going to win it. So here's the mission. You're going to get one historical prompt, and you'll get 7 documents to use as your evidence. And these docs can be anything: letters, charts, political cartoons, you name it. The clock is your biggest challenge. You have a recommended 60 minutes total. The College Board suggests you spend about 15 minutes just reading, planning, and organizing your thoughts, and then a solid 45 minutes to actually write the essay. Now, this is absolutely crucial. Your entire essay lives or dies in the first 60 seconds. You cannot, I repeat, cannot afford to misunderstand what the prompt is asking. This first phase is all about thinking before you even look at a single document. You're going to see this phrase a lot. Evaluate the extent to which. Don't let it freak you out. All it is a fancy way of asking how much. It's not asking if something happened. It's asking you to judge how much it happened or how significant it was. It's a command. Take a stance, make an argument. Every single time, you have to physically mark up your prompt. I mean it, with your pen or pencil. You're looking for 3 things. First, find and box the time period. Get this wrong, and your whole essay is off track. Second, circle the categories. Is it asking about social, political, economic factors? What are the key terms? And third, underline the historical thinking skill. Causation, comparison, change over time. This markup becomes your roadmap for the entire essay. Okay, with the prompt decoded, now we can turn our attention to the evidence. This phase isn't just about reading the documents. It's about strategically analyzing them to build your plan of attack. So you're sitting there, the clock is ticking, and you've got 7 different historical sources staring back at you. How in the world do you process all that information without getting totally overwhelmed? You need a system. Here's the key. Turn your scratch paper into a weapon. You're going to create a simple chart, just like this one. For each document, quickly jot down the main idea, in your own words. Then, start thinking about how you could group it with other docs. And finally, make a quick note on sourcing using the HAPPY acronym: historical context, audience, purpose, point of view, and, well, the why is just there to make the word happy and remind you not to panic. And this brings us to 2 little super secrets of the DBQ. First, those 7 documents are not random. They have been specifically chosen because they can be sorted into logical groups. Your job is to be a detective and find those connections. Second, something is always missing. The College Board intentionally leaves out a key piece of the puzzle. They expect you to find that missing piece in your own brain. And now we're ready. The real heavy lifting, the thinking and the planning, is done. Seriously, if you've done the first 2 phases right, this last part is just executing the brilliant plan you've already created. It's time to write. A perfect intro paragraph needs just 2 things, that's it. First, contextualization. I want you to think of this like the Star Wars crawl at the beginning of the movie. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It sets the scene. And second, you need a killer thesis statement. A clear, arguable claim that answers the prompt and gives a roadmap for the rest of your essay. So how do you actually earn that contextualization point? We're talking 3, maybe 4 content-rich sentences that describe the world that existed before the events of the prompt. You're explaining the broader situation that led to the specific topic you're about to write about. It's the what was happening that made this happen part. Every single one of your body paragraphs should follow this exact formula. This is your recipe for success. You start with a topic sentence, which is like a mini thesis for that paragraph. Then you bring in a document and briefly describe it. Right after that, you explain how that document supports your topic sentence. And finally, you analyze the source of that document. It's a rinse and repeat process. I'm going to give you a magic word. Seriously, AP readers love this word. After you've described what a document says, start your very next sentence with the word therefore. This one word forces you to switch from just summarizing to actually analyzing. It makes you connect the evidence back to your argument, which is exactly where you score those big points. All right, let's talk about how to get those last few points on the rubric, the ones that can be a little elusive. This is what separates a good score from a great one. This is how you show you have a truly sophisticated understanding of the history. Hey, remember that second super secret we talked about? The idea that there's always a piece of the puzzle that the College Board leaves out of the documents on purpose? Well, this is where that comes back into play. This is how you earn the point for evidence beyond the documents. You need to pull a specific historical fact, event, or person out of your brain, something that's not in any of the 7 documents, and use it to support your argument. It's like you're bringing your own awesome piece of evidence to the party, showing the reader that you know the whole story, not just what they gave you. And now the famous, the unicorn, the complexity point. Listen, don't think of this as some extra separate thing you have to write. You earn complexity by doing the other parts of the essay at a really, really high level. For example, if you successfully source 4 or more documents, you're on your way. Why? Because that shows you're consistently thinking like a historian, not just a student. That's complexity. Okay, one last pro tip, and this one is a serious game changer. After you've written your entire essay, if you have a minute or 2 left, go back to your introduction. You've just spent almost an hour thinking deeply about this topic. You understand it way better now than you did at the beginning. Take 30 seconds and rewrite your thesis. You can almost always make it more nuanced, more specific, and stronger. So here's the bottom line. The DBQ isn't magic. It's not a mystery. It's a system. It's a skill that you can practice and master. By following a clear, repeatable strategy, you can walk into that exam room and turn what used to be a source of stress into your biggest source of points. You've got this. You can absolutely master the DBQ.